Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Today is October 15th. Drum roll. Winter's around the corner. Ooh. All right. 2019. I want to welcome Sabrina and Natalie here live. I apologize, everybody. Thank you, Sabrina, for the phone call. Forgot to click the little green button to make this available. So we have a light crew here today live. No worries. I want to utilize this opportunity to push this webinar out to all of you today. So this will be a group text coming out to everybody. Once again, to remind everybody to stay connected. The importance of this webinar is to do continuous connections throughout the course of the day. I just got back from a coffee shop meeting with a parent, and I know I meet with a group of you in coffee shops. So the whole idea behind the webinar is to keep you informed on a daily basis of the virtual world. So I want to thank Sabrina and Natalie for being here today. Girls, how are you?
Good.
All right. So let's do this, girls. Sabrina and Natalie. All right. One word that would describe your present mood right now. What would it be?
Happy.
Happy, says Sabrina. I'm right back and ask her why. Natalie, one word to describe where you're at right now.
Tired.
Tired. Right. Even if we push the webinar back to 10 o'clock, right? Yeah, you're still tired.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm still very tired.
Well, good to see you this morning. Glad you could join us. Sabrina, you said happy. Why is the word happy come to mind today?
Because my cat slept with me last night.
What's that?
Because my cat slept with me last night.
All right. That's enough to be joyful. Natalie, tired? You just didn't get enough sleep or been a long night? Or?
Not a thing with my medication needs to be situated again.
Okay. My word today is joy. And doesn't mean that I feel joyous right now, but it's my focus, my mindset that I do a little morning affirmation. And because, to be honest with you, I didn't have the best day yesterday. So I'm going to choose joy today. That's my present state of mind. And all those encounters I have, I think I've been doing a pretty good job of that, is just trying to look at the positive pieces. And that's a struggle. It doesn't mean it's easy for me too, but it's my challenge to all of you. And I thought it would be apropos to share our webinar today, a picture that means a lot to me, that gives me great joy. This is a picture of myself a few years ago with my father at an amazing location in a rolling hills of southern Pennsylvania in a small town called Gettysburg. Girls, since you're my only two live here today, can anybody tell me what is infamous or famous about this small town called Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? Anyone?
Where a great war was fought.
Wow, Natalie! Bingo! Sabrina, your thoughts?
I actually have no clue.
That's okay. But a great battle encountered in the U.S. Civil War in 1863 in a hot summer afternoon, July 1st to the 3rd. Horrific. You know, war is not a beautiful thing. And this is where, I guess the high water mark, we could call it, where our Union forces defeated the Confederate forces to really create a turn of the tide in the Civil War. At this particular rock, the joyful part about it for me, I had the honor of sitting down with my amazing father, and I think I recorded up to 8 to 9 hours of interviews of my dad right at the base of this rock, because at the base of this rock, his great-great-grandfather stood to defend our Union. And so there's this joyful piece where we came back, an Irish immigrant, and reconnected. My father and I sat at the place where he has stood over 100 years ago, 125, 30 years ago. So I saw this image, and I wanted to throw this up on the webinar today to remind everybody, yes, it is those people you meet, places you go, and books you read that impact you. And this is one of those moments that impacted me and brought me personal joy. I'm sure you have a photo or an image out there that may brought you some great joy or a memory. Brandon, good to have you with us. We were just talking about this image that I have up here of my father and I at the site of the famous Civil War battlefield, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where my three greats grandfather stood to defend the Union. So good morning, Brandon. Welcome. Good to see you today. So what I really wanted to share out today was a very short webinar, but just another reminder, since I'm going to be texting this out to the entire group. Brandon, Natalie, and Sabrina, thank you for being here, because that means that you, once again, were compliant to the weekly piece of 3 or 5 webinars per week. Many of you, I shouldn't say many of you, but there's a high percentage of you who have not, and it's really impacting your status in the virtual learner. So as we come near the end of the first marking period, I think it's vital to remind you that, hey, make some progress on your courses. We talked about setting some goals. Be engaged in connection with this virtual piece. The value that I see in this may be different value than you, but I think the bottom line is we both agree it allows us to stay connected on a daily basis. And more importantly, it allows us to maybe continue another opportunity to meet face-to-face or have a virtual meeting where I can help troubleshoot and maybe kind of clear some pathways for you. So I want to thank you 3. I know we had a little glitch this morning, but good to have you here with us today. I am pushing out the fact is that I'll be with you in just one moment. We're in the middle of a webinar. Okay. Yeah, I'll be right with you. Yep, we're in the middle of a webinar. Okay. Anyway, so we'll be good to see you. We have some face-to-face students coming in today. That's awesome. So with that being said, I want to get with them and go over some details with them. They will be taking the NWA this week, actually today, as you will too when we come in for your next face-to-face day. So also, I want to end our webinar today with this amazing discussion of a 9-year-old, and I want you to listen carefully as he discusses this amazing perspective of life. And I think sometimes these videos get you to think differently. They do me. He has this unique way of looking at life through a lens that I think he is years ahead of himself. So before we do that, I want to just make our webinars more two-way communication pieces. Sabrina, Natalie, Brandon, your thoughts or any concerns that you may have that you may want to share here today. Good morning, Sean. Good to see you just joining us. Awesome to have you with us, Sean. We were just kind of opening the door to anybody want to share any insights. So when I say insights, 2 things come to mind. Number 1, if you need to meet with me in a virtual setting, or if it's face-to-face, like our 2 young ladies just popped into our webinar, I'll be happy to kind of spend some time with you today. I sent a text out to all of you that were coming in today that I will be late. That does happen. I had a meeting this morning on site with a parent and student. So same goes for you. So if you have that need or desire, let me know today if you would. So good morning. I see that someone else just joined us. Thanks for navigating. Hey, Jolene, she's right outside. Good to see her. And she's joining us here also today. Good to have those who come here face-to-face also popping in. So I just want to sum up. I don't have the documents up there today, but keep in mind those. I received one from Crystal the other day. Individual project plan. If you want one, you have to fill out that form on yesterday's webinar. Just go to yesterday's webinar, click on that link, and fill that portion out. I went over that tutorial with you yesterday on the webinar. So you can review that webinar on our archive pieces here if you have any questions about that. So once again, today's webinar is short, sweet reminder that we'll be doing NWA testing today. Actually, all this week. We have to get all our virtual students caught up to get that before the end of the marking period. That's huge for us today. Are there any wonderings or questions any of you may have that are joining us live?
Do we do NWA from home?
That's a great question. I know, Sean, you've been sick. We've got your note. Sean, how about stay in the line afterwards and you and I can arrange that, okay, Chief?
All right, sure.
That sounds great. Yes, we have a minister of the NWA from Cairo, Egypt. So if we can do it from Cairo, Egypt, we can do it from Baldwin, Michigan, right? Yeah, so we'll be doing that with you, Sean, absolutely. So stay on the line if you would. after the fact.
We are on Earth.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to end with this in our webinar today. Quite profound. I'd like you to listen carefully to this young man's perspective of how he looks at the world he's engaged in and he's learning in, and quite interesting. This is one of my favorites. Before I sign off, I'll be signing off at the end of the video. I want to let you know to reach out to me. Don't forget your obligation to Virtual Peace about communicating two-way. I'm your coach. I'll walk alongside you, help you out a little bit. Good morning. Is that Nico Olds?
I'm sorry.
It's all right, man. Good to see you today. So anyway, we'll end. Those who may have just joined us, I'll be pushing this webinar to some of the important components that we pushed out. Also check out the archives for some of our previous one. So stay connected. If you have any questions, Sean, stay on the line afterwards. We'll have a conversation about NWA. Got it? All right.
And
Stay tuned. Watch this.
the Earth is just one planet in the galaxies. You can compare that to an ant on the patio in this backyard. The ant doesn't know that there's more than the patio here. He just keeps walking. He doesn't know he's just part of of lots of worlds. And the human race is sort of like that. After they've discovered what's up there, they know they're only a little part of this huge galaxy. I think there probably are many different kinds of life forms, cells and organisms. Some may not be visible, some may not have been discovered, and some may be on places we can't go. And they all might have the same perspective as we do on this, that there might be others, and that maybe they can find them someday, but at the moment, they don't know. You never know for sure if there really is anything in the search. It's an endless quest without knowing what your quest is. I think it's realistic at the same time as it is fantasy. Yeah, it's just very complicated because you have no proof that there's anything out there. The only proof is yourself,
Right.
and where you are in the universe, and you can only make theories. You can never know the truth. That's one of the hardest questions there is. I would say what the meaning of your life is what you make, what you think, what you want your life to be. Nobody can decide what you will do except for you. You have control over yourself. You may not be lucky enough, and the odds may be against you, but it's never a definite no that you cannot do this. It may be predestined, but you can change that destiny.
Well, that's tricky, but it's good to know.
I mean, I might be wrong. It might be just scheduled, like some play or something, and you acted not knowing that you're part of it. But all the same, maybe destiny's just telling you. Maybe you just know it, and that's what destiny is. Destiny is that's what you know, what it knows about you, and what it knows you would do. But then again, I might be wrong, and destiny could be totally in control of you. Well, this idea is of all that.
Okay.
Training up for the season. In my opinion, baseball is one of the things that is the most special in our lives. But the reason that we play sports is very necessary. The entertainment and for the suspense, because we do not have that kind of suspense in our lives. Audio music are another type of that is in a way visible at the same time pure. You can hear the sense of color in a way in your mind.
So when you listen to music, do you see colors or hear colors?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Like you might listen to a piece of music and you might say that sounds like red.
Yeah.
No, you have a good sense of welcome. What's under my shoe?
Got a beautiful piece. Interesting perspective. I'd like to chat more about that tomorrow. Hey, until tomorrow, everybody, thanks for joining us. If you need me, please text me. I appreciate some of you did that already. Sean, stay on the line afterwards if you would. We'll be chatting about how we can pursue the NWA. So until tomorrow, everybody, have a great day. Thanks.